Uh, my name is Angel Okolie. Uh, I'm originally from Dallas, but I go to school at the University of Tulsa. I'm a graphic design major and a painting major. How I started off my career, I began really well, I've always been drawing. I was always drawing. I made like little comic books when I was like in fifth grade, going into sixth grade. But I stopped playing. I stopped doing art, really everything, when I got into middle school because I was more focused on football. So football took me through middle school. Football took me through high school, and never did any art up until like my senior year, where I had to finish a class to graduate. Um, but after once I got into college, and then one of my teammates asked me for like just a little portrait for his dorm. That's when really it started because after I finished it, he was like, "Man, this is really good," and that's really how it started. And then from there, people just wanted like they just wanted more. They just wanted like some art. They just wanted stuff for their rooms, which is understandable because at the time I was like just making stuff for my room. Everybody's dorms were blank, and I just had posters sitting on my floor. I'm like, yeah, I'm about to get my room right. And then when I get into an apartment next year, I'm gonna have the best apartment. So, but and then when people started seeing that I was doing this, they were like, okay, I need some stuff for my room. So that's really how it started. That's how it began. I feel like I can really do it. I do every medium so far. I don't know. I haven't done watercolor though, but I know I can do watercolor. But those are the mediums that I, as an artist, do work with. And then my studio is really my apartment that I live in on campus right now. Um, I just have like a little table that folds up so that I can stand and paint. Or I'm actually sometimes I paint on my bed, or like I draw on my bed because when I paint I draw out and then I paint on top. So since drawing doesn't really isn't really messy, I really draw anywhere. My apartment, a lot of people like to come to my apartment, so I'm usually having like just a little showing. You know, I like to have lights. I always like to have like lights going on and some good like indie music, soft music. It's Mike Tyson with he has a pet tiger. So I'm like, and the picture that I seen, I was like, man, this is probably the coolest picture I've ever seen. Somebody has a tiger as a pet, so I'm like, I gotta have this in my room. But that's the personal piece I'm working on right now. I have been getting kind of flooded with commissions, so that always kind of holds me back on working on stuff that I really want to work on. But sometimes like some of the commissions that people have, like some like my teammates when they commission stuff, I like when they commission stuff because they always have some ideas that uh, I I tend to like to do. So I like to do portraits. I like to do faces. I feel like the face, just painting the face, it tells me a lot when I'm painting it, and I feel like it also tells a lot when you see it, just in someone's face and just the detail that someone uses to paint the face. You can see how much time they put into it. You can see how much focus they have in it, like how much like just based off of how aligned the face is, and that's why I like to do faces. That's what I prefer to do. But currently, I've been trying to branch out. I've done skylines because I really like doing skylines. I like doing like skies, like sunsets and stuff like that. Like the colors really intrigue me. So artists that artists that inspire me. The person that I watched a lot was Andy Warhol and Basquiat. Those are the people I watched a lot. The people I learned about in school though that I like are of course Picasso, Van Gogh. Um, but another one that I really like is his name is Bonnard, and I actually have I made one of his pieces like a remake for like a class assignment because we have to do like a little remake. Well, one of his pieces because I really like his artwork, his style with oil. Those would be the people I guess would be my like role models in artwork. Um, there are a couple people currently like Kehinde Wiley. I like his artwork. Um, there's like people on Instagram that I follow that I really like their artwork. Um, those would be people that like those are people that I guess I tune into on a often to just to get ideas from them, just to like you know how you base yourself off of somebody who's already at the point where you want to be at. So you gotta like yeah, that's what I like look into and I get to study. Thinking of like how people would view my artwork, like that was something that I had to go through like for a while was just worried. I was really worried about what people wanted to see and what how people would view my artwork. But then something told me that, or I just heard somewhere that art is subjective. And for some reason that just rings in my head all the time. And it makes me think that, okay, if art is subjective, then somebody cannot like this one, but somebody else can like this one. So like, it's never, I don't think any art is bad. There really can't be any bad art if it's subjective. But of course, good art, you know what I'm saying? It's like a glowing light. You can see good art. Being a Black artist, that was one thing that was really another challenge that I had to face when I was doing art. So I'm like, I go to University of Tulsa, and my art classes, I'm actually the only Black guy in my art class. So it really has me hesitant on putting out my ideas in general. So it's hard, but I feel like it's only hard if you make it hard, because like at the end of the day, I've lived as a Black man my whole life so far. So it's like, if anything, if there's gonna be discrimination everywhere, then like I'm not the type of person that runs away from a brick wall that's too high. So I mean, it's challenging, but I feel like it's that one thing that makes you different. I mean, people like me for me and stuff like that, and of course like of how I look, I feel like I feel like with how I look, if people also take it negative, there's gonna be a lot more people that take it positive. Like, oh, that's a Black artist, let me support him. So, because I feel like there's duality in really everything that I see in the world in general. So there's like a good and a bad side to everything in the world. So I feel like, yeah, it's hard being a Black artist, but it's also good being a Black artist. There's gonna be some people that like my artwork. My advice would be to going back to what I said before, not to second guess yourself. Cause I do have not a lot, but like I do have art friends that have that same kind of battle. But I feel like if you second guess yourself, you're kind of capping yourself. You're kind of putting yourself at a cap, because you're not really gonna do the thing that is uncomfortable, that is required to make you grow as an artist. Like I didn't start getting into oils until my senior year, because I didn't think I could do it. But now I'm like, I've had stuff put into certain places, like certain galleries, some oil artworks that I wasn't confident in. I was like, okay, I'm really shooting myself in the foot if I'm like second guessing myself. So advice would be to have confidence, even in anything you do. Just really have confidence, and then put the time into it. Because like practice makes perfect, of course, that's a cliche saying, but I say just to put in a lot of hours into it. Like the hours you put in now, it's gonna show in like a few weeks, probably a month. Because I remember when I put in like every day I was just painting for hours, and I'd see myself getting better just by doing the same thing. So repetition, the hours you put into it, and having confidence. That's the advice that I have for artists. Thanks for joining me in my tiny little studio.